My name is Stanley Glenn Ford, and I am the son of Harold Allen Ford, and for that I will be eternally grateful. My father named me. My mother says that though she practically begged him, he would not tell her the name he had chosen until I was actually born. He would tease her by saying that he really liked the name Alfonso Alonzo. That was my dad. His wry sense of humor popping up at the most unexpected times. Rosemary shared with you many of her favorite things about Dad, and we could all make long lists of them. We've spoken of his conviction that love is an action word, his unselfish sharing of his skills, his faith, his gentle spirit, his humor, and his faithfulness. His prayers always had a calming effect on me during my mother's illness, over the phones at times when I was depressed, and on occasions of family crises like Craig's funeral. This is the legacy that he left us. My parents usually made it to Houston to be with me at least twice a year, usually timing one of those visits to coincide with my birthday. They would always take me out to dinner, and they would ask me to invite some of my friends to come along. And on one such visit, they took our little party to the Outback Steakhouse. After a very enjoyable meal, pleasant conversation ensued. And I was bemoaning the fact that Dad and my brother Alan got all the athletic ability in the family. I recounted the fact that every year in school, when it came time for the Presidential Physical Fitness Awards, that I could run and jump, but I never received the award because of the softball throw. I just accepted the fact that throwing a ball was just not one of my strengths. After a couple of seconds, and with his usual perfect timing, my father in that sweet voice said, "Son, I assure you, you weren't adopted." I thought my friends would fall out of their chairs laughing. My father could do so many things well. I had the pleasure of spending many hours working with him, getting a store ready that my mother had talked me into helping her open and manage in Humboldt, Tennessee, immediately after I graduated from mortuary school in Nashville. One of the things I wanted in the store was mirror squares on the back wall so that the space would look larger and brighter. Dad had never worked at cutting glass before, and his first few attempts were rather frustrating. But since I wanted it, he finally got it done. So it was surprising to me years later when he added working in stained glass to the list of the many things that he mastered. He created beautiful things with the colored glass for all of my family and many of our friends. When my beloved Mac dog died, my companion for 13 years, he took a round stepping stone and made a grave marker for Mac with an image of the dog in stained glass. I see it every day as I go in and out of my condo via my patio. There is not a room in my place or any of my siblings' homes that does not have some wonderful improvement that Dad made during one of my parents' visits. Chances are that you have been the lucky beneficiary of some of his wonderful handiwork too. Encountering the many friends and family members who have shared comfort and consolation with my family during Dad's sudden illness and death, I've heard one thing over and over. So many people have said, I've never heard Harold speak badly about anyone or sentiments to that effect. The Gospel of John, speaking of the creation of the universe, says, "In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Through the Word we express our creative power. The Word is the most powerful tool that we have as humans. Through the Word we express our creative power, and it is a tool of magic. But the Word is a two-edged sword. One edge is misuse of the Word, which creates a living hell. The other edge is impeccability, which will only create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Our Word is pure magic, and misuse of the Word is black magic. My father understood that the misuse of the Word, lying, gossip, giving negative opinions to others, judging others, was pure poison. It poisons not only those who are the subject of our gossip, our lies, our negative opinions and judgments, it poisons us as we speak them. My father was impeccable with his word. He spoke truth, encouragement, and love. He was thoughtful and he chose his words carefully so as not to poison himself or others. I've thought about this so much in these last few days, and it was really brought home to me a couple of days ago as I stood in the kitchen with Carson, 5 years old, and my father's only great-grandchild, when he said to me, "Uncle Stan, everybody wants to be like Dunda." So many of you have let Mother, my family, and me know that you were praying for Dad and for us. Just as many of you have asked if there's anything that you can do for us. I'm asking you now to do something for me and for us and for yourselves. In your prayers, would you pray that we can all be more like Dunda? The world would indeed be a more civil place were it so. During Dad's last week while at Vanderbilt Hospital, the compassion of the doctors and nurses and even the housekeeping staff was so incredible. They were all a little like Dunda. One of the young doctors there was a compassionate and handsome young man from New Jersey. As we spoke, I learned that he was Jewish. I worked in a Jewish funeral home for 4 years, and I'm well acquainted with their customs and prayers. After Dad's homegoing, this doctor came into the room and hugged each member of my family who had been keeping vigil by his bedside. I asked him to remember my dad the next time he participated in the Kaddish prayers said daily for the dead in synagogues all over the world. He was happy to say that he would. There is a beautiful prayer used at every Jewish funeral called the El Malay Rakamim, and I would like to close with it now. Translated from the Hebrew, it goes like this. O God, full of compassion, thou who dwellest on high, grant perfect rest beneath the sheltering wings of thy presence among the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament, unto the soul of Harold Allen Ford, who has gone unto eternity. Lord of mercy, bring him under the cover of thy wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. Be thou his possession, and may his soul and repose be peace. My name is Stanley Glenn Ford, and I am the son of Harold Allen Ford, and for that I will be eternally grateful. I love you, Dad, and may his memory always be for a blessing.